Yeah, it's a lot more. Is Coach coming?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Hope. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I didn't trip up the steps this time, so I'm good.
I did twice today.
Did you? Oh, that makes me feel better.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone, today for Holy Cross's press conference. We're joined by head coach Maureen Maggerty, Addison Cross, and Simone Foreman. The way we'll do this is we'll take an opening statement from Coach, then we'll do questions from Addison and Simone, and then we'll dismiss them and do questions for Coach. We have one mic holder here, so just raise your hand and I'll call on you to ask questions. Please say your full name and affiliation before asking a question. And yeah, so Coach, if you could please start us with an opening statement.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really proud of my team today. I thought, obviously it was a tough beginning of the game, and Maryland just did a great job with their pressure, which, we have been preparing for, but it's hard to prepare and simulate what they do. I'm really proud of how we, responded and kind of figured it out in that second quarter, and were able to score. But, credit to Maryland, obviously. They're an incredible team, so well coached, so deep, and just so long. And, I really wish them, so much luck throughout the rest of the season and the tournament. But I'm just so proud of this group. It's been a really fun year, and just such a great family, feel. Anybody can step up. Every single game we've had different people step up and really take over. So it's just a really special group, and obviously I'm really sad that it's over, because it's just one of those years that you just never want it to end.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for Simone and Addison. Please address who you're asking them to. We'll start here in the front.
Hi, for Addison. My name is Dylan Manfrey for Testudo Times. The accumulation of the turnovers early in the game, was that attributed to just Maryland reading the passing lanes, or bad passes on your guys' end, or poor communication? Just curious of your assessment.
Yeah, I think in the first half, their press and their pressure really got to us. I think, in the Patriot League, we're not really used to seeing that and that type of athleticism. So I think for us, they really just sped us up, and that led to careless turnovers on our part. So yeah, definitely, that was definitely hard to prepare for. So it is what it is.
Olivia on this end.
Olivia Janik with the Diamondback. For Simone, you guys were really able to kind of hit Maryland hard in the third quarter, tying them with 20 points each. What did you see going into the half that you were able to either exploit from their defense or just kind of getting used to how they played?
I think 100% driving on them. I felt like, especially in the second quarter, when we were able to get off the dribble and to get into the paint, and especially like a pump fake, or just just using our speed, or just using like our first step to get ahead of them. I feel like that we could really exploit them on that and like try and draw in a foul or try to draw them in and get a kick out. And I felt like, especially in the third and fourth quarter, we were really good at doing that. And I felt like that really showed with tying them in the points. But I think that was definitely one thing, trying to get into the paint and like trying to drive in instead of just taking really quick shots.
Anyone else have questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you guys. Okay, if you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Kareem?
Hey, Maureen. Kareem Copeland in the Washington Post. I wanted to ask also about their defense. Like you said, it's hard to prepare for, but trying to read where to move the ball, especially kind of against that press and some of that early pressure. I'm just curious, what would you have liked to have done a little bit better? I don't know if it was just them being so long that they were in passing lanes, or if you guys could have made some better decisions on where to move the ball.
Yeah, I think once we adjusted to our press break, by the time we got it over half court, we just were holding the ball too long, and I thought we just needed to reverse the ball, get more movement, especially on our weak side. And then obviously in the second half they switched to a lot of zone too. So just the changing of the defenses, they did a great job. And their length, I think on the perimeter especially, you look at the size difference between our guards and their guards. It was just hard for our guards, I thought, to just see the passing lanes and just to be able to, they're just shorter than them. So they just did a really nice job, I thought, of just kind of taking us out of any sort of a flow or tempo we wanted to. And our offense has helped and has really picked up the last week or so in the Patriot League tournament, just moving and our movement and our back cuts, and especially out of those switches, we were ready for it and prepared for it. But again, it's hard to simulate that.
In the front right here.
Hey, Coach, Still Man for Testudo Times. Third quarter, you guys evened them out at 20. Fourth quarter, they outscored you guys by 1. Obviously your offense was, clicking there, even though you were in like a heavy deficit at that point. What do you think changed for your offense to allow it to, just pick up the pace and really, I guess, replicate what you've seen in the Patriot League tournament?
Yeah, I think we just were starting to play with more confidence, weren't playing as tight, and, it's the NCAA tournament. It's our first time here. We have a really young group, playing a lot of freshmen especially, but I could just tell they were just starting to ease into it a little bit more, and we're finally making some shots. I mean, those first couple minutes, we were getting decent looks. They just weren't falling for us, and that you know how that goes. Just kind of gets into your head and starting to play too tight. So, and then I just think with the changing defenses too, I think we've seen some zone, and I thought that we were pretty comfortable with that, and I thought we moved the ball pretty well against the zone.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
No words today.
Oh, it says right here.
Yeah.
I thought Coach was saying.
No words.
There we go.
Somebody smells good.
Got no water.
It's in here. Oh, I have a cup. I don't know if somebody drank it.
Oh, I can't have this up here.
Need a cup.
Just pour it in the cup.
Yeah, can it's covered.
Yeah, it's Powerade, right?
No, it's what they gave me.
Okay, almost done.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We have head coach Brenda Fries, Brene Alexander, and Abby Myers. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, then we'll do questions for Brene and Abby, and then questions for Coach Fries. When you ask a question, please say your name and affiliation, and we'll get you the mic after you raise your hand. So, Coach, we'll start with an opening statement.
This group just continues to want to compete and play hard for each other, and you can see why they're just so much fun to coach. I loved the start. We were ready to play. We were locked in. We came out defensively. I thought, forcing a lot of turnovers with our defense, holding Holy Cross to 4 points in that quarter. And then I thought our D to O, our unselfishness, to be able to have a box where everyone scored, 5 players in double figures, was a pretty important game. And again, to be able to have Brene in her first NCAA tournament game, I loved her response coming in with just a ton of confidence. That's how we need her to be able to shoot the ball. And you can see that level of toughness. And I thought with her and Abby, just a lot of great plays for us. So excited to be moving on. Understand that as you continue through the tournament, you got to be that much better. We're going to be going against a really, really good Arizona team. But love the way that we came out today.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for Brene and Abby. Please address who your question is to when asked. We'll start here in the front.
For Abby or Brene, Sam Jane, Terrapin Sports Central. I was just wondering, when you guys are playing a press like that really seemed to, rattle Holy Cross. They talked about the length of you guys and how it disrupted them. How much did you see it taking out of their game plan and maybe their offensive flow when you have a press that's constantly forcing turnovers? You can't really get into any sort of sets you want to. What did you see from their offense that maybe you guys disrupted?
Abby, why don't you take that?
Yeah, that's the goal of our press, right? Get their nerves up, speed them up, and get a 10-second call. I think we had one of those. We were close to a few more, but it's kind of like the bread and butter of our defense is that 12. Scratch that. That press, and I think for us, we're athletic, we're long, we're energetic, and that also helps motivate us, and it helps us find our effort and energies through that press. So we're gonna hopefully continue to hurt teams with it, but yeah, it worked today.
Ian Decker, the Diamondback, for Abby. Early, couple 4 or 5 minutes into the game, Shai got the ball and kind of planted under the basket and kind of hit you with eyes in the back of her head pass.
Yeah.
You went up, you got fouled, but the pass was there. Can you just talk about kind of she finished with 8 assists, 21 for the team. Just how that movement really helped you guys today, and just kind of working the ball around, finding those open shots.
Yeah, I think Shai's really getting comfortable at the point guard spot. Just finding the open players. And for her, she's such a quick player, so she'll get to that basket, and so many people collapse on her because she's so dangerous there. And she's gonna find the open shooter, the open cutter. But also credit to E, who also I think had 6 assists. So our point guards are really doing their job today, which is what we need for them down the stretch or down the road. Yeah.
Kareem.
Hey y'all, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Brene, like Brenda said, this was your first one. What was it like? What was the feeling coming in, and how quickly were you feeling comfortable and able to kind of just let it loose?
Yeah, I was really excited to especially be able to play home and have that home court advantage. And I think going in, it's easy to have the jitters and the nerves, but once you see the ball go in, especially for me, I think that gives me a good boost of confidence. But I think it's a great feeling to be out here and be on our home floor.
Dylan.
Hey guys, Dylan Manfrey, Testudo Times. For Brene, I asked this to Holy Cross's players, but you had a lot of steals and you forced them into a lot of turnovers in the first quarter, first half really. Was that attributed to you guys reading the passing lanes very well, or them making like careless passes? Was it a blend of both? Just curious about that.
Yeah, I think for us, we pride ourselves in being aggressive and having the first punch in the game. And I think also we know our defense leads to offense, so that's just an emphasis for us and something that we want to keep doing moving forward.
Jonas.
It's for both Brene and Abby. You guys are both shooting better from the field this year than you did last year at your respective schools. Do you guys feel like you've become better shooters, in your year at Maryland? Do you think it's better shots? I mean, how do you kind of attribute that development?
I think for me, it's definitely playing with, girls that can also score at the same high level around me. I think that opens up the floor a lot, and that makes us hard to guard as a team. So I think that's why.
Yeah, I think going off what Nay said, we have so many weapons on this team that, especially Diamond, right? She gets to the middle, gets to the paint, everyone collapses on her, and I have a wide open shot. So I have less, I have to do less work to make my shots, and credit to, the people on the court with me. They make my life easier, which is great.
Yeah, this is really for both players. Childs Walker with the Baltimore Sun. Did you feel like the way that you guys played today, that high energy, all court defense, and then sharing the ball as much as you did on offense, sharing the scoring load, was that really kind of an expression of the identity that you guys have built as a team all year?
Abby, why don't you start?
Yeah, I mean, it's really awesome when every person that saw the court today scored. That just helps with our confidence. We definitely shook all the nerves off approaching Sunday's game. But yeah, it's a good feel win that we needed, and I'm just glad that everyone contributed and everyone's happy with this one.
Yeah, I think we focus a lot on we're big on momentum, and I think just having a good team win like that where everyone contributed, everyone got a good look, just as good moving forward and taking, one game at a time, and now we just know what we got to do next.
Right here in the front.
Brandon Alter with the Sports Post. Brene, this is for you. Game high, 18 points. Everyone on the bench, or everyone who played today, scored. Can you talk a little bit about the team's depth, and it doesn't just have to be the stars?
Yeah, like I said, I think, or like Abby said, I think we do have a lot of lethal weapons on this team, and that definitely makes us hard to guard and hard to scout as well, because you can't just shut down one player. And I think we do really well with playing that inside-out game.
Go to Damon.
Damon Brooks Jr. Testudo Times. Brene, obviously this is your first NCAA tournament game. You're shooting 40% from three, but in your first couple buckets, you got easy looks in the paint. Was that your intention, to get comfortable early inside and then eventually open up from the outside? Yeah, sometimes I, unless I have a wide open look, I try to get some looks in the paint first just to see the ball go in, because, it's not. Like, if I miss my first shot, it's kind of easy to be like, dang. But I think getting looks in the basket, getting easy looks off of offensive rebounds or even just easy looks in the paint really gets me going. So.
Andrew Chodas to Studio Times. For both players, I get in the second quarter, they kind of came out, played a lot better, kind of closed the gap. Was that kind of almost a needed message, when you have a team that you kind of blow out in the first quarter, but they start to come back, that this is a really competitive environment in March, anyone can do anything. Abby, you're old school, the men, 15 seed, wins yesterday. So what kind of messaging, does that see that you have to be on your game at all times, against any opponent right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the narrative around March that any team can really win, right? Because you're playing for what could be your last game, and so people are going to step up. Even role players are going to step up. But yeah, the start of the third quarter, we didn't bring that same energy and that intensity we did the first half. But so it's a little disappointing. But I think that we'll take this as a great lesson that down the road that you can't. It's March Madness. You got to play all 40 minutes. Because any minute can be, detrimental or really good for the game. So, yeah.
We'll take one more for the student athletes from Wes.
For Brene, you barked a little bit at Ava there at the end to take a shot when she decided to pass to Gigi there. What do you sort of think of your role as a leader when you're playing with some of the younger players, and how important do you think moments are like that in this kind of stage to prepare them?
Yeah, I think I gel well with our freshmen, and I want to see them win. So trying to get them open looks the best that I can, and trying to boost their confidence as well when they get on the big stage and get in those moments. So the reason I yelled at her because I thought she was open, but she was like, I wasn't. But I'm so glad she got a look there at the end. But I'm just rooting for them. So.
All right, thank you guys. You guys are good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now take questions for Coach Freeze. We'll start with Kareem. Go ahead.
Hey, Brenda. Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. I'm curious, with the aggressive defense early in the press, was that something that you identified maybe when you're watching film on them, that you saw an advantage, or did you just want to come out aggressive? And I know you guys like to start fast, and that was just part of what you wanted to do, put your will on them.
I think a little bit of both. We hadn't played a game in a couple weeks, so we're always able to set that tone on the defensive end. I did feel like our length and our athleticism, we were going to be able to kind of set that tone on the defensive end. So you just love the aggressiveness, and you could tell that yesterday in practice that we were going to be ready to play.
Dylan.
Hey, Brenda. Dylan Manfrey, Testudo Times. Going off the defense, and you spoke about it in your opening statement, defense to offense today was very good for you guys today. 37 points off turnovers. Just curious, what that metric says about your team's ability to, turn defense into offense.
It's something since the Big Ten tournament we've been really intentional, is just being able to really get our D to O going. And I think, it shows in our practices. We've had really good practices since we've finished the tournament, and just really, really locked in on both ends of the floor.
Hi, Coach. It's Paige from WMUC Sports. And I was just wondering, there was a big height difference between the two teams that I noticed in the beginning. And what did you guys do to prepare? Is that why you went more inside the paint and less threes, or is there any more reasons?
I think definitely we wanted to exploit that matchup when we could. We knew we had the height advantage, so we were really intentional in some of our play calls. And I thought credit the team, just really unselfish play, being able to take what the defense gave us.
Jonas.
Hey, Brenda. Jonas Schaefer, Baltimore Banner. Just to follow up on what I asked Brene and Abby, I remember talking with you a while back about Shatori and just how much of a better shooter she was when she left the program than when she came in. Obviously, we've seen Shai grow from year one to year two. I guess, is that just kind of the ability to become a better shooter, something that you kind of take pride in and develop? I know, obviously, you need a lot of pieces to make these guys' lives easy, but what do you kind of think is the mark of this program, and how well you're able to develop these guys?
Yeah, well, shot selection matters, so it's really, really important. When you look at 5 players in double figures, you have to be really, really efficient when you have so much great talent around you. So that is an area on the offensive end that we're constantly being able to really execute with our team. So the shot selection matters, especially if you're going to only get 7, 8 shots. When you look at like a Brene, you look at a Lavender, they came from programs where they were taking a lot of shots, and so maybe your percentages weren't as high. So I think it really fine-tunes them. It makes them a better player, that they've got to be really efficient on the offensive end.
Damon Brooks Jr., Testudo Times. Coach, you all forced 24 turnovers and held them, scoreless for almost 6 minutes in the first quarter. How important was that defensive ability to set the tone in and on a big March game for you all?
Really important. We discussed that from the tip. We wanted to come out and see how long we could hold them on the defensive end. I thought that's where it starts for us. We were really, really aggressive, turning them into 24 turnovers, and then on the other end, us being unselfish.
Olivia.
Hey, Coach. Olivia Janik from the Diamondback. I wanted to ask you about a couple of plays that started off the game. Faith gets a steal, she gets a layup, she gets another steal, hands it off, and then you get a 3-point possession with a free throw from Abby and then a layup from Diamond. And Faith finished the first quarter leading the team with 8 points. What have you seen about her this year that has just made her become such a stronger player and start for the first time and now be back in the NCAA tournament after missing it last year with her injury?
Well, you can see how much we missed Faith last year. She's the glue player, the unsung hero, and just is our grit, our scrappiness. And I loved being able to see her initiate the start for us on the defensive end, and then the unselfishness followed. You could tell that we wanted to play the right way. I thought Diamond was really good. I mean, they were collapsing on her with two and three players, and she just made easy offense for her teammates. So, credit. I thought Faith set the tone. I love the fact that she was right there on the defensive end with the 3 steals, and that's how we want to play.
Hey, Coach. Sam, Terrapin Sports Central. Just wondering, obviously, Holy Cross, a younger team, a smaller team, and then now you get to go up against an Arizona squad that's, I think, on all starting 5 of seniors. Do you expect to throw the press out as much, maybe with a longer and more veteran team that you're going against? And how do you think that type of pressure defense could work against them?
Yeah, I think obviously you evaluate the scout. Arizona's a great team out of the Pac-12. I think for us, our conference has prepared us for a game like this. They press, we press. So it's definitely going to come down to 2 teams and who executes better on both ends of the floor, who can get stops defensively and who can execute on the offensive end.
Hey, Coach. Ian Decker, the Diamondback. After the big Iowa home win here, you said, I'll let them celebrate it tonight, and then tomorrow we're moving on. That's kind of the mentality you have to have in tournament play. You have a strong game, you great, you move on. You just talk about, what, you're telling the team, or, it's a veteran-led team. They know kind of how to take care of business, but just how that mindset of, all right, we won, we're moving on, next game.
I think they truly understand it, given that it's the NCAA tournament, and it's a time families are in town for them to go enjoy dinner and spend some time with their family, but then understanding it's a quick turnaround of their rest and their recovery, and understanding the scout of what lies ahead.
Hey, Coach. Andrew Chotis, the Pseudo Times. Just a quick note about the Pac-12. And you've seen them a couple times in the round 32 of recent. They've had success in this building. What is it about, teams in the Pac-12 that you've seen that make them really hard to play against at this time of the year?
Well, I think you see in Arizona, you see in a lot of teams some very defensive-oriented type of teams. I think you also see in the Big Ten a lot of offensive-oriented teams. So you're definitely going to have a lot of great styles. But any of your Power 5 conferences, you're going to see nothing but great teams. And anyone that's in the round of 32, you're also going to get nothing but teams that are have had a lot of success and are going to be more than prepared.
Yeah, hey, Brenda. Childs with the Baltimore Sun. I guess following up on Arizona again a little bit, watching them today, they seem to be able to score both inside and outside. I mean, they had a post player who had 25 today. What specific challenges do you think they will present to you?
They're really deep and talented and have a great size. They, I think, have weapons at every single position. They're a great defensive team, very scrappy. And like you said, I think they can get their offense going in a lot of different ways with their guard play, with their inside game. So I think they kind of understand who they are and what's working. So, for us, it's, really understanding the scout and putting the best 40 minutes together.
We'll take our last one from Zoom, Javier Morales.
Yes, hi, Brenda. You spent a lot of time with your former teammates at Arizona. I know you've had reunions with them. Can you just talk about that dynamic? Because I'm sure you're going to get some texts or calls from them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're talking about doing a reunion in the off season, so I'm gonna have to see who they're rooting for in this game. But yeah, college are the best years of your life, and so I'm really close to my college teammates that I was able to play with out in Arizona. It's ironic. I've never had to coach against them here. We've been to the U of A one time in my coaching career. We've taken a team back there, so pretty ironic for them to be able to come back here.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.